Welcome to our self-love yoga. It'll be a nice, gentle, soothing class. Again, if you want to use the self-love playlist, you can just hit play on that now. And then let's find a comfortable seat. So we're going to start with settling, and then we'll do some sense soothing. But first, let's find a comfortable seat. So if cross-legged works, you'll sit cross-legged. If you have a tendency to round in the low back, maybe sit up on the edge of a block or a blanket so you can find a forward tilt of your pelvis. Let your shoulders relax down and slightly back. And we want our head neutral, so we don't want the chin down or chin up, but we want it just right in the center. Head gently pressing back, so ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips. Soften gaze down or close eyes and begin to tune in. Of all relationships, the ones that we have with ourselves are the most important. We make ourselves vessels for the love that we wish to receive by first pouring that love into ourselves. Landrell. Each and every yoga practice that we show up, it is an invitation to pour love into ourselves. So when we're here, we're working on not judging and not expecting, but more accepting and being with ourselves just as we are. Sometimes we show up here and we're feeling really full and we're feeling really bright and we're feeling really light. And sometimes we show up here and we're feeling rather empty, we're dull, we're low and lethargic. And however you are, it's okay. Let's take 3 cleansing breaths. Full inhale through the nose if you can. And exhale side out the mouth like, ah. In the nose. Ah. One more. Ah. Now we're going to do some sense soothing. So we are going to do a little facial massage. So we're going to get out our tappy fingers and we're going to bring the fingers to the forehead. And we're just going to start to lightly tap up and down and all around on that forehead. Gaze can be soft or eyes closed. And then begin tapping around the eye sockets. So 1 or 2 fingers tapping around the bony part of the eye, not on the soft part. And then let all of the tappy fingers come to the bridge of the nose, the cheeks, coming to the lips, coming to the chin. Raise the chin and then just start to tap down the throat. And then you're going to rotate and bring your chin over to the right. And then you're going to do long, light strokes from the left ear down to the collarbone. And then you're going to lift your chin through center, have the strokes come down to the center of the throat. Rotate chin over towards left shoulder, and then do the strokes on the right side of the neck. And then release the head through neutral. Then what we're going to do is soft fist, and we're going to take the knuckles in towards the center of the forehead and then gently press and drag out and down. Bring together, drag out and down, release, and then come back to center. So we press down and out, release, and then come back. Seeking to have relaxation in that face. Bringing in some ease. As you're sitting here, do your best to stay lifted and tall out of that low back. At any point, if you need to adjust your seat, you will, to bring in comfort, ease, and sustainability. One more. And we're going to bring our first two fingers, pinchy fingers, into the center of the brow and then gently pinch out to the edges. Come to center, gently pinch, come out to the edges. And we'll continue this. Inviting release of any tension that might be hanging out here. Last round. And then we'll bring our first two fingers into the bridge of the nose and then gently trace the bottom of the socket. Come back to center, gently trace the bottom of the socket. So you find a nice amount of pressure that works for you, not too hard, not too soft, but finding just right. Bringing ease. Our senses are working all day, every day, and so this is an opportunity to soothe. Last round. And then bring the fingers to the temple and just start to do a little temple massage. Choosing whatever direction calls. And then pausing and switching, going the other way. And then let those fingers drift down to where the jaw hinge is. So you can kind of open and close the mouth until you find where the jaw, the bottom and the top meet. And then you're going to kind of massage little circles in there. If you are a jaw clencher, you might feel some sensation there. Remember to stay in green lights and yellow lights, meaning some of the stuff that I offer in class might bring discomfort. Switch your direction, but it should never be painful. If the yellow light of discomfort switches to a red light, pull back, you've gone too far. It's your job to keep yourself safe, okay? And then release, drop your chin into your chest and let your hands now go up and down the neck, from the base of the skull down. Just inviting some ease here. As we do this, keep the softness that you cultivated in the eyes and the jaw. And then release. Bring your hands together, rub them together, building up a nice amount of heat. Since we did that facial massage, it might not take too long to get that heat filled up. And then you're going to close your eyes when you're ready and bring your hands over, palms over the eyes, sealing out the light. And then open the eyes and soak in the warmth and the darkness. Finding a nice breath here. And then close the eyes if that's okay. Release the hands and switch the cross of the legs. Taking a moment here. Finding your breath. You yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserves your own love and affection. As we continue on with our practice, I invite you to love on yourself. Noticing any judgment voice or any expectation voice in your mind. And know that that's just your ego. And can you soften around that and just come back to breath? Come back to this moment and come back to the invitation of unconditional love and acceptance for yourself just as you are. Hands to heart. We bring our hands to heart to honor the divine spark that lives within each of us. It lives in our hearts and connects us to each other and all living things. We honor the sacredness of our practice as we open with the sound of Om. Inhale. Om. Release the hands to the knees, and we're going to start to gently stir the pot. Inhale, your torso is going to come around forward to the right. Exhale is going to come around back to the left. So now we're going to start to stir the energy in the body. As you do this, you're going to feel yourself rocking on your sits bones. You'll feel the weight kind of shifting forward and back, side to side. Stay like a curious explorer, just noticing what you notice about this. Carry the softness and the ease in the face that we cultivated through the sensed soothing. And keep your breath flowing throughout practice in a way that nourishes you. We'll pause, and then we'll begin to circle out the other way. Large or small circles. Breath leads, body follows, finding a rhythm that works for you. Maybe even have a slight little Mona Lisa smile on your face here. What a gift to be here to love on your vessel, the home of the soul. Last round. And then find neutral. We're going to release ourselves into table. So come around to hands and knees. Let's move our spine in all the directions that it goes. Fan open the fingers nice and wide, middle fingers parallel with one another, elbow pits face each other with a little bit of softness there, and knees under hips-ish. So your hands or your knees might be a little bit wider if that feels best for you. I'm going to suggest that you just have the tops of the feet resting on the earth. Unless you need toes tucked, you could also do that. We're going to begin cat-cow. Inhale, widen seat, drop belly, look up. Exhale, press down and forward into the hands. Tuck your tail, tuck your chin, curl and round your spine. Inhale, widen seat, drop belly, look up. Exhale, press down and forward into the hands. Curl like a cat. Continue to flow. Breath leads, body follows. Keep a little softness in your elbows. Your gaze can be soft or your eyes can be closed. Inviting unconditional love for yourself here. It's not selfish to carve out time to care for yourself. It's actually necessary, because what happens when we're just out in our world giving and giving and giving and doing and doing and doing, if we don't hit pause and take some time to refuel and refill, what's going to happen is we're going to burn out. So let this be a time to refill, refuel, and nourish so that you can be your best self out in the world. Last round. And then be still in neutral. Step your right foot back behind you with your toes tucked. And then just begin to playfully shift your weight forward and back. Getting into the heel, getting into the foot, getting into the calf. As you do this, the elbows have a little bit of a bend. The low belly is gently in to help neutralize the tail. And then eventually what you're going to do is steady in neutral. And then step your right foot over your left, bend your elbow slightly, gaze over your left shoulder towards your right foot, breathing here in the side sway. As you hold here, you might shift your weight ever so slightly to the right, breathing. Gently, slowly, carefully come back to center. Step that left foot back, toes tucked, and then begin to shift the weight forward and back. So now we're getting into the left foot, ankle, calf. At any point, if it's too much to have your palms on the earth, you could do fists with the thumbs out. You could do tented fingers with the palms lifted. You could drop your elbows. So just know that there's alternatives. Find neutral and stillness. Step the left foot over the right, bend both of your elbows slightly, gaze over your right shoulder towards that left foot, and shift the weight a little bit to the left. Breathing here. And then slowly release through neutral. So we did forward and back, we did side to side. Now we're going to do rotation, and this is going to help get into the heart and the shoulder blades. Right hand is going to stay on the earth, left arm is going to go out to the left to shoulder height, and then maybe rotate left fingers towards the sky. Inhale here, and then exhale, left hand palm up, laces under the heart, off to the right, left cheek to the mat. We're threading the needle. You can keep your right fingers tented and bent and pressing under the right bent elbow, or lengthen your right arm towards the top of the mat, press your right palm into the earth, press the back of the left hand into the earth, shift your hips a little to the left, keep that right palm pressing, back of the left hand pressing, and left hip snug into the left, and breathe here. Send the breath into the shoulder blades. And on your exhales, can you invite the earth to take anything that's no longer serving you? Any resistance, any heaviness, anything you no longer need. Anything that's blocking your ability to love and accept yourself just as you are, here and now. Last breath. Bend the right elbow, bring it under the shoulder, and then inhale, twist open, left arm out to the left, maybe rotate it towards the sky. And then release that hand back down. Then we're going to keep the left hand under the shoulder, right arm out to the right. Inhale, rotate right arm up to the sky, and then exhale, right hand palm up, laces under the heart, off to the left, right cheek to the mat. You might tent your left fingers and keep them rooted underneath a bent left elbow. Or lengthen that left arm, press the left palm into the earth at the top of the mat, keep that. Press the back of the right hand into the earth, keep that. Shift the hips a little bit to the right, keep that, and breathe. Last breath. Then bring that left hand back under the shoulder. Inhale, rotate right arm out to the right, maybe up to the sky. And then release the hand down. Now let's bring our big toes to touch, our knees wide, and press the seat back into a child's pose. If you can, your seat comes towards the heels. If the seat is not able to go towards the heels, it might just stay lifted, and that's okay as well. forehead or chin to the earth. And now I want you to wrap your breath around your rib cage and let your heart kind of get melty here. And now send your breath into your low belly and into your low back. Each inhale, expand low belly and imagine expansion in that sacrum. Exhale, gentle in and up of the low belly and an invite of release of tension. On your next inhale, we're going to look up, and then exhale, walk the hands off to the right side of the mat. Release your head back down, and then shift your hips a little bit to the left and breathe into your left ribs. Keep the breath flowing in and out. Don't fight or freak out if the mind is a little noisy. It's okay. Just come back to your breath. Neither push away nor grasp your thoughts or emotions. Just let them float on by. And come back to this spaciousness in your breath and the invitation for loving of yourself just as you are here and now. Next inhale, you're going to look up. Exhale through center. Take a moment here. Next inhale, look up. Next exhale, walk the hands off to the left. Release the head, shift the hips a little bit to the right, and breathe here. Next inhale, come through center. Bring yourself into table. And then in your table, I want you to just take some curious movements. So you can just move in any way that calls. It could be cat-cow, where we're going forward and back. It could be wagging of your tail, where you're kind of shifting your hips and your head left and right. Something else that might feel good is circling out of the pelvis. So you might circle the pelvis a few times in a clockwise direction. And then a few times in a counterclockwise direction. This movement here is playful, is curious, it's without judgment. It's just noticing. It's like an experiment. What's going on here? Then release through center. And then what we're going to do is drop our seat and we're going to turn to the side of the mat. So now for this next one, just be really mindful of your body. And if anything I offer isn't safe for you, you're going to adjust or skip if you don't know what to do. You don't have to do this, but this is an interesting way to get into the sides of the low back, okay? It also is going to get into hamstrings. All right, so we're going to sit to the side of the mat. Right leg is going to go wide right out to the side, and then we're going to have our left knee bent like a butterfly. Our spine is going to be tall. We're going to twist our torso to the right. Then we're going to begin to hinge at the hips. Find your edge and pause here. Right fingertips are going to be tented outside that right leg. They're going to press down and forward, and you're going to feel your heart turn a little bit more towards the right knee. Take your left hand to the outside of that right leg and spider walk it over to the right. And then we're in this interesting twist and fold. And then you kind of find your edge and you breathe there. Soft eyes, soft jaw, curious, spacious mind, flowing breath. On an inhale, slowly begin to peel yourself up, come through center, and pause. Now that was a twist and a fold. Now what we're going to do is look for a side sway, okay? So we're going to go, this is called a revolve Janu Shirshasana. So right hand is going to go on the inside of the right leg, okay? Now you might keep the palm or the fingertips on the earth, or you might drop your right elbow to the earth and scoop your right fingers under your right ankle. Left arm is going to reach back behind you and then paint a rainbow reaching towards the toes. You may or may not be able to get the toes, so don't stress about that. Press your right fingers or your right elbow down into the earth. Lift your left ribs up to the sky and dial your left shoulder back. And these stay effortful. Right hand or finger or elbow press down, left ribs reach up, left shoulder dials back. Breathe. On an inhale, release and rise. And then just take a moment in neutral. That was a very deep place to go. We're going to keep our left knee bent, and then what we're going to do is shift the weight to the left sits bones and now bend the right knee so the sole of the left foot is resting on the top of that right thigh, okay? And the weight is mainly on the sits bones, and you're going to twist your torso to the left. Now you might stay lifted and tall, or you might start to walk yourself down and out, dropping your elbows to the earth, landing in a deer pose. So deer, you might stay on your elbows, or you might lengthen your left arm to the side and release your left cheek down to the earth. Wherever you're at, be there and breathe. If this is the first time you've done this, you might be a little confused. So can you stay with it even in your confusion? And know that your confusion is the first step in learning something new. So don't run away. Just do your best. Hold it lightly and let go of the rest. Breathe. Last breath here. Then what we're going to do is press the hands into the earth, peel the spine, slowly come back to neutral. Take a moment in center. And just for a moment, notice the differences in the sides of your body before we rush off to the next. And now we're going to bring ourselves into balance. So now left leg is long and right knee is bent. like a butterfly. So it's like a half butterfly, half dragonfly. So now we're going to do this interesting twisting of our torso towards the left leg and keep that left foot flexed. Then you're going to begin to walk yourself forward, okay? Find an edge and pause. You might need to bend your knee. Left fingers are going to press down and forward into the earth, and then this is going to turn your heart towards the knee. Right hand is going to reach over to the outside of that left calf and spider walk off to the left. The head might drop. And here's where you're going to find this interesting opening in the right low back. Keep the left foot flexed as if it's pressing into an invisible wall, but keep softness in the knee. Keep breath flowing. Last breath. And then carefully bring yourself up to neutral. Come into center and pause. Now we're going to do the revolved Janu Shirshasana. So left hand is going to come to the inside of the left leg. So we either have tented fingers that press down and we kind of rotate our heart to the right, or we drop our left elbow and maybe scoop the left fingers under the left ankle. Right arm reaches back and then kind of paints a rainbow overhead, reaching towards the toes. You may or may not grip the toes. Don't stress about that. Press your left fingers or left elbow down into the earth. Keep that. Reach your right ribs up to the sky. Keep that. And dial your right shoulder back. Keep that and breathe here. Last breath. And then slowly rise, coming through neutral. Big breath in, big breath out. Now we're going to shift the weight onto the right sits bones and bend the left knee so that we now have the sole of the right foot kind of resting on that left thigh, kind of just above the knee. Then we're going to twist our torso to the right. Now you might need to sit up tall, and that's cool. You just stay here. Or maybe you walk yourself down and drop your elbows. Deer pose. Or maybe you lengthen your right arm towards your side and you lie all the way down and rest your cheek on the earth. You find what works for you and you don't judge your body for being better or worse dependent upon what pose it can go into. That's very silly and that's not very kind. Love your body and its edges just as they are. Breathe and soften there. We're all going to look different. And wouldn't it be boring if we were all the same? Last breath. Carefully begin, if you're folded down, to press your hands into the earth, to peel yourself up, and slowly bringing yourself through center. Here we're going to have both of our feet wide, knees bent, hands back behind us. Snug your shoulders together. Drop your right knee in. Keep your left knee lifted. And then switch. Raise your right knee and drop your left knee in. And then switch, right knee drops, left knee raises. And then switch, right knee drops, left knee raises. I don't know if I'm saying the correct sides, but we're going side to side. And then release. I want to do a little bit of foot love, a little bit of foot massage here. So I want you to find a comfortable seat. And we're going to also do a little bit of love for our hands. So what we're going to do is right leg is going to go long, and then you're going to cross your left ankle over your right thigh. You want you to do your best to stay seated tall. If you need to, you can bend the right knee to bring the foot towards you. And we're just going to start to love on the foot. So you want to get under the ball of each toe. You want to get into the arch. You want to get into the heel, maybe squeeze it a little bit. I want you to also make sure that you get each and every little toe with a twist and a squeeze and a wiggle. Our feet are our foundation. They're so important. They carry us around all day, every day. And we don't give them enough love. So let's love on them a little bit here. And then what we're going to do is take a slight fist of the right hand and start to knock on the bottom of that foot. And then what we're going to do, if we can, we're going to take our right fingers and interlace them in between the toes. And if you can't interlace them in between the toes, you can just hold the toes and start to circle out the foot and the ankle. Choose one direction, doesn't matter which direction. We're going to go both ways. And then you'll pause and you'll circle it out the other way. Then release, gently pull the foot towards you, and then use the left hand to kind of massage the top of the ankle and top of the foot. And then release that. In between sides, let's do a little bit of opening for the low back. So legs long, snug the shoulders back, reach your chest and your chin forward and up. Now this is one place where you can stay. This might be enough. Or you might bend your knees, feet and knees wide, and raise the hips coming into a reverse table. Keep your elbows with a little bit of softness. You can gaze at the belly or straight to the sky. Lift those hips up, up, up. Keep the breath flowing. And then release the seat down and lengthen the legs back out. So now we're going to switch sides. So keep the left leg long across the right ankle over the left thigh. You might keep the left leg long or bend the knee to bring the foot towards you. And we're going to start to love on the bottom of the right foot. We're going to make sure we get under the ball of each toe. Ooh, and if you find some sensitive parts, maybe in the arch or under the ball, you might give a little bit of extra love there. Make sure to get that heel too. Also make sure to get each and every little toe with a twist and a squiggle and a wiggle. And then we're going to take a gentle fist with the left hand and start to knock on the bottom of that right foot. And then we'll take the left hand and see if we can interlace the fingers in between the toes. If we can't, we just hold the toes and start to circle out the ankle. Choose a direction. You might hear some noises, some creaks and some cracks. As long as it's not painful, that's okay. And then you'll pause and you'll circle out the other way. And then you'll gently pull the foot towards you and use the opposite hand to kind of rub on the front of the ankle and the top of the foot. And then release. Legs long, let's do another legs long and snug and shoulders back. You can lean back on the hands and you might keep the legs long or bend the knees and raise up those hips, just coming into a reverse table. Make sure you're breathing. If we stop the breath, we stop the energy flow. And then release down. Find a comfortable seat. I want to do a little bit of stretching for our hands because our hands are an extension of our heart and we use them a lot and we also don't give them a lot of love. So we're just going to do some gentle stretches. So we'll start with the right hand. Left hand is going to take that right pinky and just kind of stretch it back, finding its edge, taking a breath or two. And then switch to the ring finger. Middle finger. Pointer. Thumb, and then we kind of just press the thumb back kind of towards the elbow crease. And then release, and then take your left thumb and massage under your right thumb. So under the pad that is just under the base of the thumb knuckle. It could be really sensitive here, so you just kind of want to love on this area. You might even be surprised at how sensitive it is. And then release that, shake that right hand out. And then we'll switch to the left hand, okay? So we're gonna take the left pinky, stretch it back. Ring finger. Middle finger. Pointer. Thumb. And then massage under the base of that thumb, that on the palm. And then we'll shake out that left hand. And then we're going to come onto our backs. So when you're ready, we're going to come onto the back. We're going to do a little bit of a bridge, and then we're going to do a figure four twist with a side sway before we move into rest. So arms long next to the side, snug the shoulders in. Head is neutral, gently press the back of the head into the earth, keep that. Press the backs of the shoulders into the earth, keep that. Press your palms, keep that. Inhale, raise your hips. Coming into bridge pose. Lighten the eyes, lighten the jaw, lighten the toes, and just keep reaching those hips up, up, up. Breathing. And then lower the hips gently down. Cross the right ankle over the left thigh, figure four. Drop your figure four over to the left, sole of the right foot to the earth, right knee to the sky. Left hand reaches down to take a hold of the right ankle or calf. That guides your torso into a side sway, and then reach your right knee towards the bottom of the mat. Let your chin fall towards your left shoulder. Sweep your right arm up so it comes next to the right side of the head, and breathe here. Last breath. Ever so slowly, come back to neutral, unwind, unravel. And just pause with the knees bent, knocking them in, and just resting here for a moment. The knees neutral, left ankle over right thigh, creating this figure four. Drop the figure four over to the right, so sole of the left foot to the earth, left knee to the sky. Right hand reaches down to take a hold of the left ankle or calf, guiding your torso into a side sway. Gently press your left knee towards the bottom of the mat. Let your chin fall to the right shoulder. Left arm comes up, kind of next to the left side of the head, if appropriate for your body. Breathe here. Last breath. Slowly release, come through neutral and pause. And then when it feels okay, bring your knees towards your chest, bring your hands to the tops of the knees, and then start to stir your knees like you're stirring a pot. So we're going to go a few times in each direction. Doesn't matter which direction you choose, but you're going to feel a massage of the sacrum. Always know if it feels unsafe and you can't do it, please don't. But if it's just a little uncomfortable and doesn't hurt, maybe you push your edges just ever so slightly. Pause. Start to go the other way. But there's a fine line between pushing our edges with compassion and then going into pushing our edges beyond what is safe for us. And so your job is to find that line and stay in the safety zone. And then what we're going to do is stretch the legs up towards the sky and the arms up towards the sky. And just do some gentle circles of your wrists and your ankles. Choosing a direction, doesn't matter which. So we're going to go both ways. And then we'll switch directions. All the while, the head is just kind of resting. And then release, just kind of shake the arms and the legs. Dead bug. Dying bug. Shaking it out. And then release down to the earth. Here, we're going to take any last movements before coming into rest. Now, I will suggest coming into a heart opener. So if you have 2 blocks, you're going to use your blocks to create this for yourself. If you don't have blocks, you can just relax flat on the back. But if you have the blocks, 1 block second height widthwise for head, other block lowest height widthwise for heart. You turn yourself around, place 1 block across the shoulder blades, other block supports the head. Let your limbs fall out to the side. If you need to neutralize the low back, you can bend the knees and bring the feet back to neutral. You can also butterfly the legs, soles of the feet together, knees out wide. Soften gaze or eyes closed. And I'm going to invite a few rounds of box breath. And you'll just play with this. Inhale for 4. Hold for 4. Exhale for 4. Hold empty for 4. Inhale 4. Hold 4. Exhale for 4. Hold empty for 4. Inhale for 4. Hold for 4. Exhale for 4. Hold empty for 4. Inhale for 4. Hold for 4. Exhale for 4. Hold empty for 4. Breathe naturally and just let yourself go. Time to rest and integrate. And I'll call you back when it's time. Shavasana. Self-love is not just about feeling good or taking time for yourself. It's a state of appreciation for oneself that grows from actions that support your physical, psychological, and spiritual growth. Self-love allows you to accept your weaknesses along with your strengths and to have compassion for yourself as you strive to find personal meaning and fulfillment. It may seem hard to grasp, but self-love and self-care are important for overall well-being. It can be challenging to shift from self-judgment and negativity to compassion and positivity. Fortunately, you can change your body and brain with the thoughts you think and the words you speak. Self-love builds out of the thoughts and actions that you choose. This, in turn, will support you emotionally, psychologically, physically, and spiritually. Self-love is a dynamic experience that expands and moves with you as you change, experience life, and grow. From the Chopra Center. Take a moment here and just notice the effects of your practice. And tuck away any little bits of wisdom that resonated with you. Thank the earth for holding you. Thank yourself for showing up. And thank all of the teachers that came before that brought us these practices to help us live in harmony with ourselves and with each other. And above all, thank the source that brought us all here. And then ever so slowly, wake up. Come back. Stretching and moving and enlivening. And being careful if you're still propped up. You might bend your knees, bring the feet to the earth, and rock off of your props onto one side, curling for a moment in a fetal position. And then eventually, in your own way and time, choosing your own adventure as you eventually find a seat. And here we're going to seal in our time together. Yoga and the practice of it doesn't end here. We carry the yoga practice out into the world with our thoughts, with our words, and with our actions. And on a yogic path, we're invited to align those thoughts, those words, and those actions with loving kindness and compassion. We start first with being kind and compassionate to ourselves, and then we naturally shine and bring that out into the world. We honor this practice with 3 rounds of Loka, Samasta, Sukhinu, Bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free, and may my thoughts, words, and actions contribute in some way to happiness and freedom for all. Inhale for 3 rounds. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Hands to heart. We seal this all in, honoring the sacredness of our time together and honoring this group intention of self-love and loving ourselves unconditionally. At the end here, I'm going to give a Rumi quote. The universe is outside of you. Or sorry, the universe is not outside of you. Look inside yourself. Everything that you want, you already are. And one more Rumi quote, because I just love Rumi. Do not feel lonely. The entire universe is inside of you. Stop acting so small. You are the universe in ecstatic motion. Set your life on fire and seek those who fan your flames. Let's seal it in with Om. Inhale. Thumbs to the third eye. Inhale, look up. We remember our connection to all that is. Exhale, we bow our head or our torso forward, sealing it in. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. Namaste. Thank you, beautiful souls, for sharing your practice with me.